Welcome to Not a Roofers podcast, where we discuss roofing
without all the jargon. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Charity.
And this is today's episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Not a Roofers podcast. Today, we don't have just one guest. We have three guests. How about you introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name's AJ Gailey. I'm from Oregon. I work with Roofers Coffee Shop, and I've been in the industry for about a year.
Hey everybody, my name is Rachel Iverson. I'm so excited to be a guest on here today. I work for SFY, also called Solutions for You. We are a claim supplement company, so our area of expertise is ensuring that in the case of an insurance claim that the insurance does write an accurate and correct scope so that the property can be properly returned to its pre-loss condition. So that's really our area of expertise in the roofing industry. And I have been with SFY and in the industry for 3 years.
Hi, I'm Chantel Hepburn. I am in Ontario, Canada. I am with Tremco Roofing and Building Maintenance as a business development manager. And I've been in the roofing industry for 11 years.
Chantel, you are the expert and longtime OG here in the group today, I think.
I'll take it.
Unless, I don't know, Brianna and Charity, maybe you may have been around. You've been in roofing most of your life.
We've been around roofing for our whole lives, but not in the industry.
But
I've avoided it most of my life.
Yeah, so Agreed. I'm with AJ. I've been around for about a year. And Charity, you're 2-3 years in?
I think this is going on my third year.
Yeah.
Because I started in 2018.
Well, we're so excited to have you guys. And we're actually going to wait.
Oh.
She made it!
Wow.
Yay!
Okay. So we're just introducing everyone, so you can introduce yourself.
Alrighty.
So we just did name, company, where you're from, and like anything else you wanted to say.
I am Christine Mockenhop. I work for SRS Distribution in a finance role on the East Coast out of New Jersey. I also started the National Women in Roofing New Jersey Council back in 2017. And that's about it. I chair for the council's committee at this point in time.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad to have all of you. I'm so glad you're able to get in, Christine. So I didn't give Charity the outline for today. I didn't give Charity anything for today. So sorry. So I believe
You're such a good sister.
I am really great at this. So, who would like to explain what NWIR Day is? We did have Heidi on the podcast 2 weeks ago, and she kind of explained it, but anyone?
Christine, I feel like you have been with NWIR probably the longest, and definitely, you work on the national council, you are on your local council. I think that you'd be a great person to answer that.
So, ironically, this was only my second of 4 National Women in Roofing Days, and my first one was in Dallas last year, so I didn't really know what I was getting into when I went, but it was just such an empowering day. I keep saying this, but there's not enough time. I don't think it's long enough. I think it needs to be longer because there's so much more content that we want to provide and networking and interaction. Our pillars are networking, mentoring, recruiting, and education, and we get all of that jammed into one day, and just the relationships that are built, it's incredible. We have so much excitement. People are starting councils all over the place now. We're really going to put this thing on steroids and put more of a structure to it, and there's exciting things coming.
Yeah, so you said this is only your second NWIR Day?
Would you like to know why I didn't go to the first 2?
I kind of do.
So I'm a big New England Patriot fan, and it was always like Super Bowl Sunday, and I did go to the Super Bowl. So I was like, Super Bowl, and then I just can't focus. I said it in my speech when I won the World Award. Heather Estes and I were big Patriot fans, and we struggle. But last year we were both able to go because we're like, well, the Patriots, they're not in the World Super Bowl anymore, so now we can attend NWIR Day.
Do you want to know why I did not go to NWIR Day last year? It's because my family are Kansas City Chiefs fans. We were
Oh,
playing in the Super Bowl, and I could not go because we had plans to watch the Super
see,
Bowl because our team, you know, and Patrick Mahomes,
you
such a
get it.
sweetie. I have to watch him play.
You absolutely get it then. I was on the flip side of that.
I
We were in
do.
the Super Bowl like every year, so I couldn't book it. We were always in the playoffs. Now that Brady's down in Tampa, I'm like, well, I can go every year.
Well, I appreciate you and Brady giving us that opportunity to be in the Super Bowl this time finally.
Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. I would not have thought that was the reason, but here we are.
But yeah, I would say that I don't know what their plan is for the future. I mean, this year, obviously, the International Roofing Expo was in August, and National Women in Roofing Day has always piggybacked on the IRE and been held at the same time. And this year, IRE was August, so there was obviously no Super Bowl conflict this time. I don't know what the future plans are, or if Christine, that you know more about the future plans. I haven't checked the date for next year, but I would say that probably a best practice is to not have it on the same day as Super Bowl Sunday, because I think that is a conflict. We may be women, but that does not mean we don't care about our sports teams.
So the NFL actually did add an extra week, and I think it pushed it into February because IRE is February 1st to 3rd. So I think, as scheduled, NWIRD would be January 30th. So we should be in the clear.
Awesome.
So, would you ladies like to tell us how NWIR Day went?
Yeah, so my aunt is Heidi Ellsworth. And so I've been hearing about National Women in Roofing and National Women in Roofing Day before like it even was an actual day. And so it was so surreal for me to be able to go for the first time with her and sit through it and watch her speak about it and then just watch this vision that I've been watching from her the last several years in person, and then meeting all of these women in an industry that, you know, as I was raised that it was a mainly male dominated field, and so to see all these powerful women there, it was just such a surreal experience for me.
I really enjoyed it as well. I've been in the industry for 3 years. I've actually been a member of my Oklahoma National Women in Roofing Council since probably within the first couple of months of getting into the industry. And I've been on our Oklahoma board for 2 years. So, from almost since the moment I joined the industry, I'd heard about National Women in Roofing Day, but this is the first year that I'd had the opportunity, the stars had aligned correctly, that I could go, and I did really enjoy it. I've been to conferences before. I've been to roofing conferences, and prior to working in the roofing industry, I worked in higher ed. I used to be an admissions officer at the University of Tulsa, so like I've done conferences, and conferences have always been one of my favorite aspects of professional development because of just the opportunities for education, like continuing to hone your skills. There's, and I think this is where kind of looking at if we did it, if it was more than one day in the future, having breakout sessions, I think is a really important part of a conference because it gives you, you know, it kind of gives you a small group setting to kind of talk about certain ideas and bringing relevant topics, things that are challenges that you may be facing in a particular, you know, in a particular day-to-day situation. And conferences is that opportunity to kind of step away from your daily grind and look at different things that you want to do better, looking at ways that your company can grow, looking at ways that you as a professional can also grow. And with Women in Roofing's pillars being education being one of them, as well as mentoring, those are two things that you really get at a conference. And seeing this kind of an event brought to the roofing industry and specifically for women, because I think also we as women are natural connectors and relationship builders. And those friendships with other women are really important to our happiness as professionals, and we build each other up. like one thing that I really enjoyed, I went to a breakout session about council leadership because, like I said, I've been on my Oklahoma council for 2 years, but we're a small and mighty band. There's not a whole lot of people that are really actively involved right now in helping with the leadership of our Oklahoma council, and it's really easy to sort of get worn out or burnt out and be like, I've run out of ideas, and to be in a room with other women who are also striving to serve their local community in this way and hear their ideas was just really encouraging. And even things like, you know, you're not going to always be able to do everything. You know, take take encouragement and be proud of the things that you can get done, the things that you are able to do, because that's more than nothing. And so instead of like beating myself up for all of the things on my grand list that, man, I would love if our council was as active as the New Jersey Council or the Oregon Council or the Dallas Council, but instead of like comparing ourselves to them, saying, here's what we did accomplish, and don't be discouraged or beat yourself up about some of the things you didn't accomplish, and focus on what you have, because at the end of the day, National Women in Roofing is an all volunteer organization. We are here giving of our time because we care about the industry and we care about building one another up.
It's okay. It's hard to not compare yourself to the New Jersey Council. I'm there.
We have a reputation to uphold. I have to make sure
You do.
Yeah, you do.
See, and I look up to South Florida. I want to be like South Florida when I grow up because they have like hundreds of members and they're turning away sponsors because they have too many. I'm like, oh my gosh, how can that even be? So we all have something to strive for.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat that there's so many of us on here that this was our first time attending. And it was also my first time attending, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And, you know, growing up as a girl and a woman and a teenager, girls are not always kind. So to walk into a room of women and strong women who welcome you and genuinely want you to succeed, and some of these women don't even know you, was probably one of the most, like, I get goosebumps talking about it because there are women that I didn't even know that wanted me to succeed, because when one of us succeed, we all succeed. And it was just such an empowering experience, and to leave with friends. And I think I was attached to Brienne's hip, and AJ, I remember meeting you in the morning, and it was just such an amazing experience, and connections were made, and it was a safe space. And I mean, I can't say enough about it. It was a life-changing day for sure.
Talking about, listen to Chantel and her first experience. My first IRE, I talked about where I was terrified, and I had Lee Lipniskis and Michelle Boykin, and we were like clinging to each other because you get that feeling. But this environment in National Women Roofing is so welcoming and inclusive that it's given me so much confidence over the year, because I just want to serve the members and just give them all the help that they need to succeed. And I just see this growing up and blowing up. We are the best organization around. I mean, everybody's going to want to be a part of us. Why not? I mean, I have never seen anybody say, I'm quitting National Women in Roofing. They're terrible. Like, they're just telling their friends about it. And every year that we go to this, you just make more and more friends. The funny thing that I took away from it was I felt like I met so many people throughout the year on Zoom calls and on phone calls. And then to just be in the room with them was incredible, because it's like, how is this the first time we're meeting in real life? Because it didn't even make sense. Brianna, you as well. Like, we've been on Zoom calls and stuff. And it's like, just to like give you a hug. It was great. And if you go back down to like our mission page, it's so very simple. It's the mission of NWIR is to empower women in the roofing industry. And it really is, at the end of the day, it's that simple. Our pillars are a part of that, but just lifting each other up and helping each other in any way is what it's all about.
No, it's so interesting to me. So our listeners don't know that I won a scholarship to go to National Women in Roofing Day and IRE. They're finding out now as they're listening. But, I don't think I was going to NWIR Day without that scholarship. So it's so amazing to me, because without it, I wouldn't have had the experiences. And I don't know if I've told any of you besides Charity, this isn't the industry I want to be in. I dream of being a librarian. And up until last week when we were together, I was very much like, nope, I don't like the roofing industry. I want to get out. Like I think it's still there, but there just that day really solidified like, oh, wait a second. Like I could actually really be happy here. Not that I thought I couldn't be, but it was something you said, Christine, actually, when you were accepting the World Award about your daughter picking what she wants to do. And you said that whatever field you go into can be replicated in the roofing industry. And my initial reaction was to fight that because I want to be a librarian. And I was like, how do you replicate being a librarian in the roofing industry? Like, you can't.
You got
That's one parallel that doesn't exist. Sorry.
Well, no, it does. And I will explain how it does, because what a librarian does is they collect and distribute information. And this podcast is an example of that. We are collecting and distributing information. It's just not in book form. And so, like, I came to that realization. But at the same time, one of my favorite things at NWIR Day, there was a session on roofing being a family affair. I work with my family. And so I went, and I forget who said it, but she was like, I left for like 2 years. I left. I went away. I was not working with the family. I wasn't even working in the roofing industry. And that was the best thing. And so I think I came away going, it's okay for me to be here now. It's okay for me to leave. And it is okay for me to come back. And I think I needed that. And so NWIR Day really kind of solidified where I feel, because I kind of felt for a little bit like I didn't earn my place here, because it's a family company. There's always that part of like, oh, I'm just here because my dad hired me. But there really is a place for everyone.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it was there.
Very good,
it was so there. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, NWR Day was great. And Charity, you need to go. I already told you that.
Well, so what you
But I'm
did
telling you
know
again.
is I asked Dad, I was like, would you have sent me to National Women in Roofing Day this year? And he said, if I didn't have Amelia's birthday party, that he would have sent me with.
That sounds like a rain check to me.
Yeah. I don't know if he would have originally sent us. Had I not gotten the scholarship, I don't know if he would have sent us, because it is a lot of money for a small company to be like, here, go to Vegas. But maybe now, like after hearing what I've said, maybe he'll send us.
Yeah, now that you have the experience and you're able to point out the value, I will have to say the fact that you have been on the fence about your future in the roofing industry, if your dad sees the value of you as an employee, which I am sure that he does, and this is something that is important to you staying and being the best that you can be, that you'd be like, Dad, I will continue to work for you as long as you send me to National Women in Roofing Day annually to get my annual like injection of energy and vibrancy and all that.
I mean, I still am going to go to grad school. I'm very determined on that, and I do want to like work in a library eventually. But for now, I will stay.
I will say, because this, when I joined SFY 3 years ago, was my first introduction to the roofing industry, and I had no idea until then what kinds of opportunities that there are in this industry. That just working in the for-profit sector for the first time in my life was just eye-opening in general. But there's, as has been said before, no matter what your skills and interests, there are opportunities in the roofing industry where, whether you are more of a sales is your interest, if project management, if you like organizing, if you're into accounting, there's just a lot of opportunities. And something that I think has been very, very inspiring and very freeing for me to discover is, this is very much a work hard, play hard industry, which I like. there's great opportunities for people to earn a good living, which also gives you the space to take time off. You know, when you're earning a good living, then you can not work on weekends, or let's, depending on if you're a project manager and you put jobs up on Saturdays, then maybe you don't work on Mondays. You know, there's and with a lot of businesses being smaller companies, there's a lot of opportunity for flexibility, working around what's an ideal schedule for you. If you've got, you know, if you've got a kid's ball game that you want to be involved in, and be like, Tuesday and Thursday nights, I don't knock doors, but I'll be out there all day Saturday. But I'm going to take, you know, I'm heading out the door at 3 p.m. on Tuesday because I've got this family commitment and that's what's important to you. There's just, there's the opportunity to really build your life around what your personal priorities are, which is, I love.
But what can you guys tell me about your experience?
What I will say is, I took a lot away from that day. And I agree with Christine. It's not enough time. I wanted more. I was crying by 9 a.m. when Megan Keys was up there. There were just some incredible quotes, some incredible stories. And I think one of the biggest things I took away was that we are not alone in this industry. And we as women face challenges that men don't face. And that's not to say that they don't have their own challenges, but we were in a room with women and moms. And there was a woman who said, some days I'm a great mom and a terrible employee. And some days I'm a terrible mom and a great employee. And I related to that, especially in a year where kids were learning from home and there was a lot of unknowns. And it was almost like I was allowed to forgive myself for all of this guilt that I had. And all of my friends and family have told me that, but it was from hearing it from another woman that I didn't even know in another country that happened to be in the same industry as me. And I left feeling that I wasn't alone. And I left feeling that I had so much to learn and that I don't need to be afraid to succeed and that I don't need to be afraid to push the envelope and I don't need to be afraid to, go after what I want, because all of these incredible, strong women who faced some of the same challenges me, if not more, have done it and have led the path. So I walked away feeling just super empowered and knowing that I wasn't alone. And some of you on this call have a big part in that, and many of the other women. So yeah, just knowing that you're not alone, and even those moments where you feel like you are, there are other women experiencing it and championing it and triumphing and owning it. And that was really, really empowering for me.
Yeah, I loved what Megan Keys had to say too. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the morning because for anyone who was not there, the day was basically structured so that in the morning there was several kind of large group sessions. We had speakers that addressed everybody. The whole group, we kind of heard the same things, some really important topics and things that were covered. And then in the afternoon, there was 3 separate breakout sessions. So you can kind of choose. There's like 4 different topics each hour that you could kind of choose from. But Megan spoke in the morning and shared her story of, being given an opportunity, and she's a woman, she's a minority, and her experience, the positive and the negative. And she just had just really compelling things to say, just about not only hardships and the way she had continued to move forward, but also the way many people in the industry had really welcomed her in and given her that opportunity um, to have a career that allowed her to support herself and her children. Um, and yeah, I also, Chantel, was really struck by that comment that, you're not always going to do everything perfectly. And there's days you're going to do some parts of your life really well and other bits of your life are going to suffer. And then on other days it's going to flip flop. And I don't know that if we as women, do we struggle with guilt more than men do? I don't know. Maybe I haven't talked to them enough, but I know that it's a very common thing for myself, and I hear from a lot of women um, really guilt tripping themselves over things that they haven't done, haven't not done everything perfectly all the time. So that was just so encouraging to hear, that we're cheerleaders for each other, and you don't have to be perfect at everything, but you're gonna always try to do the best you can, and to reach out when you need help with something. You know, you don't have to pretend to be Superwoman. You can reach out and be a team, and that's good. It's more than okay. Like, it's good.
Yeah, I think to Rachel and Chantel's point, I think we're our own worst critics. We're harder. We would never say the things we say to ourselves to our own best friends. We don't give ourselves enough credit and enough grace. And I think a lot of coming out of National Women in Roofing Day was try to give yourself that grace that it's okay. Just another example is with everything, the environment that was changing with the week leading up to it, we had to keep changing our content for the day as well. There were a lot of speakers that couldn't show up and try to fill that spot. And even the breakout sessions were changed. And we actually threw two sessions in there that weren't even planned. Somebody stepped up and, had experience with the disc assessment. So she put on two sessions for that, which I heard were great. The brainstorming sessions, we at the board of directors meeting on Saturday, we had such an incredible brainstorming session. We had papers all over the wall with ideas. Like we don't have enough time to do all the things we want to do. We've got so much stuff that's coming. We just have to do it. But to put those brainstorming sessions in the breakout groups for the members, I mean, I haven't even seen it yet, but I heard we got even so much more content. So I love it. I don't know. It means so much to me, this organization, because I just keep meeting these great women and they just support me and I support them. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I just vision it like, okay, we start at 8 a.m. and then we go through the day as it is, but then we have dinner together and then we keep going. And then we have a slumber party and we just keep going because it's just like, I don't know what you don't want it to end.
You don't want it to end.
I was fortunate enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get 20 people at our council leaders meal after the reception. So we kept it going a little bit more. But yeah, for the council leaders to get together and share ideas of what they're doing in their councils, and potentially having regional events. So, people in their own, at lunch, we had the tables regionalized. So you can kind of get to next to, your neighboring states and maybe plan something together as a cross region meeting, or we could do something like National Women in Roofing Day on a regional schedule. So it's not like everybody from the East Coast is flying out to Vegas, having something that might be a little more cost effective for people, but still get the same benefits. So lots of ideas brewing.
Yes, I loved the regional dinners or the regional lunch. I thought that was a great idea. That was one of my favorite parts of the day. One, who doesn't like to stop and eat? So having stopping for lunch is always one of my highlights. But having lunch with friends is the bomb. Love a lunch date with a girlfriend, and putting us in regional areas where you could find other people from either your state or states nearby was just really cool, because although we can do quite a bit remotely and have done a lot remotely over the last year and kind of broken down some of those boundaries, but if you were going to plan in-person things, it's just the proximity to people that are in nearby states is a valued networking that really had a lot of purpose to it, and saying, get to know some of the women who are within driving distance of you, basically, and people whose markets are similar to yours regionally, people whose issues may be similar to yours regionally, whether that has to do with code or with typical weather situations. If you're talking your technical roofing applications, like just those regional connections are really valuable, and having lunch organized such that you went and sat with your regions was a really practical way of making those connections happen.
I'm bringing all of Canada with me. We're going to have 5 tables next year.
Do it. I want to hear your experience, AJ, because you were with Heidi
I was.
all day, right?
Well, for the most part, yeah. Well, this will make everyone laugh. I started my day out with ripping my pants. But luckily,
Oh, no.
Like I was like, it's a group full of women. It's okay. Their Firestone had like a sewing kit in the swag bag, so I sewed them up, and I was like, we're good. We're gonna go. And so I had
That's
that.
awesome.
I also went to the family affair, which I worked with my aunt, cousin, both cousins, my uncle, and then a whole bunch of family friends. So that was a really interesting thing to sit in. And then they said we needed a support group for all of us who worked in family businesses. And I've never heard anything so accurate before. It's like, yes, we do, because it's a struggle. But that was really fun. My favorite, though, was on Tuesday at the welcome party when National Women in Roofing, a whole bunch of the girls were there, and we started a dance party. We had a Congo line. We ended up having I ended up swing dancing with Danny from BTA, and it was amazing. Heidi was so impressed because she's like, we've never had this before, and we just brought all of this new energy to this welcome party. And so I was just so impressed with the women in that group that we were able to bring that energy in.
Definitely. Yes, I have been to several IREs, and that was by far the most fun welcome party that I've ever attended. And it was because of you guys.
Yeah, after the welcome party, I know Charity and I scolded our mom because our parents came in halfway through, and they kind of just went and sat down, and our mom didn't join us. We're like, why didn't you? She's like, I just felt like I'd be judged. And I was like, really? Because we were all there.
Been the oldest one.
I know. So, it was really fun, though. The welcome party was fun. Did any of you do the TikTok? I didn't do the TikTok.
I did. I'm waiting. They're editing them, right? I don't know when they're coming out.
I'm waiting to see Heidi's TikTok that she did with her husband.
Oh, geez, they did.
Oh.
I did not. I feel like I wasn't really sure what I'd be getting into, so I played it safe. didn't do that.
I just feel like I was constantly busy. Like someone was either coming up to talk to me or like I had to be somewhere. And so I never ended up finding time to go find the TikTok booth. And I probably could have during lunch, but I was very focused on eating. So
and regional networking. If you skip lunch, then you're not going to have the energy you need to make it through the afternoon, which is important. There was so much good stuff in the afternoon too. Mm-hmm. So you really
Yeah. During the afternoon, going to the councils, like planning events and finding people were so helpful because the Wisconsin Council is small. And just starting. And so now, I got back, I sent off an email. I'm like, okay, let's pick a day. That's going to be our consistent day from here on out. And let's get together because I have an entire page of stuff that I'm like, we need to do all of this. So it was I'm excited for what the council can be. I really think Wisconsin needs 2 or 3 councils because we are kind of a big state if you look at it. Because having a council near Madison, Milwaukee is not going to be good for people up in Eau Claire. But that's big goal.
Just do what Oklahoma does and switch off.
Maybe.
Yeah, rotate.
Maybe. I have to find people up in Eau Claire first, but I really coming out of it, I was like, yeah, we're definitely going to need more. But we have to get the people first.
Or you could do some virtual ones to cover the whole state. At least they still got together.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Many ideas.
I would say that's a good idea for developing that foundation because if you've got wherever you are at locally and if you got 2 or 3 other women who are in and if you can then do that particular event virtually. We've gotten better at it through the Oklahoma Council, trying to do them both in person and also streaming it virtually. It took a little practice with the technology. I feel like we did a little better each time, so that there is the opportunity because we do have basically a little cohorts in both Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and we alternate the location of the meetings so that not everybody always has to drive. Somebody gets to not drive. And if you can't drive or you're in quarantine, then you can join the meeting. And I think that's a great opportunity for inviting people who may not be ready to commit to running their own additional council in another location, but to see what you're doing, and yeah.
Just to what Rachel was saying, then once they get going and they find some more people, then they can grow up and break off into their own. I think that's what happened in Florida. They eventually broke into 3, and now they have so many contractors down there to grow their base. No, I was going to say about the breakout sessions. I'm so glad that the council sessions were successful, but I'm like, I need to add an extra session so I could get one off so I can attend a session because I did all 3 straight through, and I'm like,
Right.
so much other good content, and I'm like, darn, I missed it. So yeah, another vote for making it longer.
Yeah. There were so many sessions that I was like, oh, I want to go to that and that. Oh, but I need to be at that one at the same time. And so it was hard because I wanted to go to one of the brainstorming sessions because I had some ideas, but I ended up going on the Karnak tour on Monday, and Michelle was sitting next to me on the bus, so I just told her my ideas then. And so we'll see how that happens, but
that's great.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
So fun. If there's like one thing you took away from the entire day, what was it?
We can do anything.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
Next year, I want to be there.
Next year, I want to be there. I like that takeaway. That's a great takeaway.
Get charity to New Orleans. This is the new campaign.
I'm going to start a countdown.
You're just going to be the poster. Yeah, a poster child for NWIR Day will be charity. Just, I want to be there.
Yes. Awesome. Man, I don't know if I could sum it up in one takeaway. I'm also more of a detail person, and so like making a big picture statement is very difficult for me. I'm like, there was this, and there was this, and there was this, and there was this.
We're not going to challenge you.
No. Well, no, thank you. Thank you for challenging me. I appreciate that. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I think probably my biggest takeaway is share. Particularly like share if I have a question or need help. Don't assume I have to do everything on my own. Don't assume that I am the best person at whatever. There may be somebody else who is better at something, some particular area. There's somebody out there who's really amazing at some area that I may struggle in. And so as opposed to like hiding that and being either ashamed or embarrassed or guilty of the areas where I don't excel, reach out, be honest and open, like be open to other women and other people about where I may need their expertise, because that lifts them up. If that's an area that they're really good at, that lifts them up to be able to demonstrate that area of excellence. And I will do the same for them in what area of excellence I have. So yeah, I think that was probably my biggest takeaway, was just seeing that room full of women who fill all kinds of different roles in our industry, all kinds of different personalities. Not a single one of us exactly alike. All of us bringing a unique combination to the table. So just like being open with others, I think was probably my biggest takeaway.
Mine was that this is just the beginning. I'm only a junior in college and just now entering the industry. And so this is just the beginning. And I can see there's all these women who showed their paths of that they'd been in the industry and they were able to make a path for themselves through the industry. And so it's just exciting to see that this is a place that you can go and be successful.
Yeah. I'm 11 years in and I still feel like this is just the beginning. I think you're so right.
My takeaway is this podcast, because I all contacted you like 2 days ago going, hey, you want to do this? And it was very last minute. And you all can actually thank Charity. She's the one who thought of doing this.
Oh, thanks, Charity.
We appreciate it, Charity.
We were sitting there podcasting Monday, and she had it titled IRE and National Women in Roofing. And I'm like, How am I supposed to talk about that? I wasn't there. So I'm like, just contact people. We know people. Contact them.
Yeah, so like just the way that I could email or text you guys and be like, "Hey, you want to you want to do this like in 2 days?" and just finding a time. So we are doing this across I think 3 time zones right now. So just being able to do this across 3 different time zones and find a time that worked for everyone was so great. But yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Like I can just contact people. I have contacts now and can just reach out and be like, "Hey, this is what I need," or like anything really. And I met 2 of you virtually beforehand and 2 of you in person for the first time last week.
So
which
fun.
is just amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
We shared fries, Brianna. We're best friends.
We are best friends.
Roofing is connection to me, and that's what this is all about. Bringing everybody together for the greater good.
Yeah, I love that theme for this year. The roofing is ... That was a great theme. I wanted to just reiterate my congratulations to you, Brianna, for getting the scholarship to come to Women in Roofing Day. I think that's super cool. And of all the women who applied for that, the fact that I am honored to know you. So yes. So I wanted to just put that out there. Another congrats to you for getting that scholarship and getting the opportunity. Because if you had not, we wouldn't have met.
Yeah, like
We
I
would
don't
not have
know
met.
if I would have been there.
I mean, I know Charity, but who knows when you're going to come to Oklahoma, and if when you come, whether we would have hung out, because I didn't know you. But now I know you, so obviously when you come to Oklahoma, we will hang
Yes,
out.
we will.
It is not acceptable for you to come and see Charity and not see me. So please include me in your next
In my
visit.
plans.
In
Well,
your
that'll be
plans.
up. That'll be up
Yes,
to Charity because I will not have a vehicle. So,
got it. Well, I have a vehicle, so
oh,
I can
okay.
come steal you away as long as I know you're here.
I think another thing was Brianna had said that, it can be expensive to go. And, for those people who are listening to this podcast when it airs or when they find it, and all your followers, if they are in roofing and not a member, join National Women in Roofing. And if you are a member and you're not sure if your company will send you, go to the website and find the advocate little program that they have there for you. So you can advocate to your company for yourself, because all 5 of us on this call, even Charity, she's got mad FOMO over there. We're really touched by this day. And I think that more and more people need to have this experience. So if you're not a member, join. And if you are a member and you want to go, get to the website and start planning for 2022. Start fighting for yourself now.
164 days.
We also should congratulate Christine for being the World Award winner.
That was
Yes, that's a big
incredible.
deal.
AJ,
Big
I got
deal.
to follow in your aunt's footsteps. It was such an honor. Even last year when she won it and Megan came out and sang, I mean, it was like, that was an incredible night. And then to get that honor this year it just means so much. I don't even realize how many people I touch, and it makes me so happy because I just want to give back to this organization that's given me so much.
Well, it is well deserved. I cannot think of a better person, Christine, to have gotten that world award.
Agree.
And for those who don't know what the National Women Roofing World Award is, it is for a dedicated leader in the roofing industry who has demonstrated commitment to the development of the industry, who has made a difference in their respective niche of the industry, because we do all have, there's a lot of different corners of roofing. So someone has made a difference, exhibited outstanding commitment and leadership, perseverance, personal and professional growth, created opportunities for others, and been an inspiration to many. And Christine, you really embody those qualities.
Thanks, Rachel. That means a lot.
I agree with that.
I'll give you guys a little fun fact. I took the red eye home on Wednesday night, and I didn't know whether to pack her being the World Award, or what. So I carried her on board, and I put her in the overhead bin. And I left the plane, went down to baggage, and I was half asleep because I was exhausted from the week. And I left her in the overhead bin. And I knew that United was just going to say,
Oh
well, you can't go
no.
back just fill out a form. And so I immediately filled out a form, and I got a call Monday that said, congratulations on your world award. We have her. So I was able to go pick her up and bring her back to her rightful home. So it had a happy ending, but I was like out of it. And I was like, oh
that's
my gosh.
awesome.
So she is rightfully home.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
That's good.
It's okay. Heidi's World Award got used as a microphone in Ellsworth's music video. So
That's fantastic. It's the perfect shape for it. I think it works.
it is.
So I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything else? No. Charity?
No?
So, well, thank you all for just taking some time, getting through the technical difficulties, and just joining us on the podcast. I'm hoping that this finds somebody and they can be like, wow, I want to be a part of that, because that'd be awesome.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
You're welcome.
Good seeing you ladies again.
Yeah, and to our listeners, Charity and I will be back next week, and we don't know what the topic is, so you'll be
Do we
surprised,
ever?
as surprised as we are.
Awesome.
We sometimes do. It's okay. So, until next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. If you've been loving what you're hearing, make sure to press the subscribe button so you get notified anytime we post a new episode. Episodes come out on Wednesdays. Please share this podcast with a friend, rate us, or leave a review. All of those help us to reach more listeners so that everybody can join us and learn more about the roofing industry as we go along on this journey. If you don't already follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube, I will put all of our information in the show notes below. Feel free to contact us with any questions or ideas you have and would love for us to talk about on the podcast. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time.